All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our viewers today. We got some representation from, I believe, over 12 countries today. So it's an absolute honor to be able to say that. Thank you all for showing up to walk through the CRM updates. So if you weren't all on the first meeting of that a few months ago, earlier this year, we covered our new CRM product at First Ignite. Really excited to show you what all the capabilities are, how this ties into our broader First Ignite ecosystem of tools, and then also just talking a little bit more about our strategy. My name's Cody Pulowski, co-founder, CTO. Um, Before we jump into actually screen sharing the CRM itself, I'd like to just highlight uh, just overall our thesis at First Ignite and some of the learnings that we've picked up from a lot of our closest research partners over the last few years here. Uh, Really, a lot of the main challenges that we're facing across institutions, and this applies to all offices and all institutions around the world, is the silos of data and teams across campus. This is something that we really haven't seen any solutions out there address, not to the extent of really unifying a lot of the strategy, relationships, and communication across campus. So the overall concept of the First Ignite CRM is mainly, of course, a place for you to store and keep track of all of your relationships, but especially for multiple teams across campus to have visibility into what everybody's working on, who they're engaging with, especially the historical aspect of all of these deals and engagements. It's actually very powerful to be able to leverage this information as you're going and running new initiatives on the First Ignite platform. So what I'm going to do today is demonstrate a really quick use case and walk through the full functionality of the CRM. I'll be covering some of the updates that have shipped in the last couple of months here. There's quite a number, especially a whole UI refresh. And then I'm also open to answering questions at the end. Also say, hey, Gary, I am watching the chat too. So keep that in mind. I'll have this open. We've also got some of our team in chat as well. So feel free to leverage the little chat button over there or the Q&A section too. So let me jump right in here, if I can. Here we go. All right. So this is the homepage of the First Ignite CRM experience. If you're familiar with CRMs like Salesforce or HubSpot or other tools like Blackbaud or Lucian Banner, you're probably going to notice there's a lot of similarities. CRM, we're really not out to reinvent the wheel here. What we've identified, of course, is there's a lot of teams actually that are operating without a CRM today, or they've got a CRM implementation that's uh, kind of, let's say, incorrectly molded to their use case. So we see a lot of our partners leveraging Salesforce. They might be leveraging Banner, but applying that or trying to apply it to the best of their capabilities across many different use cases in their teams. And it just doesn't seem to be something that's really easily adoptable within your workflow. So the day-to-day experience, really one of the core tenets of the First Ignite CRM is to enable you to really just do your work, focus on making new connections, and having the CRM more or less operate in the background. So keeping tabs on all the activity that's happening, whether it's from your emails, your First Ignite campaigns, any sort of prospecting activity and engagements that you're tracking through there. All of that is designed to natively boil up to the CRM experience. And then, of course, it wouldn't be First Ignite if we didn't have an AI layer built on top of that. So what I'm showing right here is the home screen, very straightforward, as we've designed it to be. This is completely customizable based on your use case. So whether it's you want specific modules, specific views here, data to hide or to display, this is something that you can completely customize. You can auto arrange. You can add, remove widgets, as you can see here. Uh, Again, customization in mind. Every team, every campus, every office does something a little bit differently. So we wanted to ensure that you had the full capability to get in here and really make it yours and get the most information or most pertinent information right off the bat here. You'll see I've got my, in this case, pipeline value. The actual currency is also delineated. So if you're working internationally with international partners, you can account for various currencies here as well. We've got how many active deals are really that I have visibility of on my team, and I'll get to that in a moment as well in terms of the permissions and sort of the visibility and team structure that you can really get in there, get deep in there, and customize. Who has visibility to what information. We have the total number of companies that I'm currently tracking within the CRM, and then contacts as well. I have tasks due. So there is a task assignment system in here also. I really wouldn't be a CRM or wouldn't be a collaboration tool if we didn't have the capability to be able to create and assign tasks to the team members or to yourself. Recent deals. So also any deals that are assigned to you, the user, easy display right here. Pipeline overview. This gives me a little bit more detail in terms of my various pipelines and stages. I'm going to jump into that in just a moment as well. Recent contacts, basically, who are the people that I've had some sort of recent engagement with. This could be emails, maybe booking a meeting or logging some other type of interaction on campus. And then recent emails that it's picking up from our team inbox in this case. So let me jump over before I get into the AI assistant, which is very powerful and also kind of fun to use. Let me jump right over here to the company's view. So as you can see, pretty much what you'd be used to. A lot of our partners are already using spreadsheets or they're using some form of a CRM. Unfortunately, for some of them, it's all up in here in their head. But we structured this again completely customizable. You can get in here, you can connect various sources. So by default, we have information pulling in automatically from FirstIgnite. So from our SaaS platform, the core tool that many of you use and are very familiar with every day, we can actually pull in our FirstIgnite project information directly to the CRM here. There's also a setting that we can enable to automatically sync over the companies and the contacts from a FirstIgnite project. So whenever you're running autopilots or if you're doing manual prospecting on platform, all that information is seamlessly synced over to the CRM experience without you even having to lift a finger. If you want, you can, I mentioned other sources. You can connect HubSpot and Salesforce right now. We're just about wrapping up with our Blackbaud integration also, and then focusing on other CRMs such as Banner and some other custom, more niche implementations. If you don't have an existing CRM, but you do have a bunch of spreadsheets, messy or not, there's a lot of great information living in those. And we do highly recommend that you import this information. You can uh, use this import pane here up to 100,000 rows. So it gives you some decent overhead, there's good, decent flexibility in terms of how much information you're populating. And then you can select how you're structuring the CSV here and then what type of information you're importing. We have, of course, there's multiple steps I won't go through just at this moment, but in terms of the setup and the mapping, you can get very specific with what columns and sort of what properties you're mapping into the FirstIgnite platform. And again, thinking this needs to be very customizable. So we have all of those various properties and settings that you can tweak there at that time as well. And of course, you can export this information too at any time, and you could manually create a company here if need be. Jumping over to people, you'll see it's a very similar experience to the company tab. I can click into any given one of these and I can view the overview of that person. And I wonder if I actually have we'll just stick with this one. I was looking for someone with activity. I don't want to disclose too much here on a public webinar, but in this case, we've got no highlights for this person. Doesn't look like we have prior engagements. However, with my email connected, assuming I've got some conversation, some email thread, this could be a whole array of email threads over the course of months or years. All that activity is logged directly on that contact here. And we actually use AI to provide little summaries, basically a synopsis for what this email pertains to. So the nice thing here is you don't actually have to dig into every single little email and open threads, scroll through things. We'll actually provide a little summary that is highlighting what is it that you need to follow up on, if anything, or basically, is this moving throughout your pipeline? Is this a certain deal stage? Do they require more information or some follow up? Are they requesting a meeting? That type of stuff is all highlighted right here. Activity, I can get really the full rundown. In this case, this contact doesn't have any email activity, and then I can also log interactions. So we have the capability, and I'll also get into workflows. This is another fun tool, but I'm showing you the manual aspect right now that you're probably familiar with, is you can log interactions. This is meetings, calls, emails, face to face. So this could be an on campus business meeting, on campus visit, or wherever it may be. Could be a conference, or you could log other, and then you can provide more context about that information there. So very helpful. Again, also using AI to start to pick up on these types of activities through your email, through your calendar, and automatically populating that type of stuff directly within here. You can add a note directly to this contact as well. So you can also mention, you can at a colleague. So in this case, let's see, Tiago, mention colleagues with username like Tiago at FirstIgnite.com, right? So it's really their email prefix. I can mention them. They'll get notified on their end if they need to follow up or really just have better visibility into what's pertinent to them. Any associated deals here, I can create a new deal directly from this view related to this contact, to this prospect. Or I can also look at my existing deals and associate them directly here. So very seamless experience. You don't have to be jumping all over platform to be able to connect these resources to one another. Tasks here, we've got, of course, as you can imagine, similar to deals. In this case, we can create tasks. So what is it that needs to be done? Brief description of this task, priority level, due date, and then the assignee. So again, this is really meant to be more of a collaborative tool as well. Uh, Also talking about visibility and permissions, you can imagine really being able to define if this is a cross-campus approach. Maybe you've got tech transfer, you've got corporate relations, even career services. This could be, maybe event sponsorships or some sort of sponsored research deal. All kinds of various activities. You can very easily, assuming you've got it configured this way, you could add a task and then mention your team member, assign that team member or someone in another office to basically jump in and provide their guidance, or maybe they need to take some action, right? Follow up or to book a meeting. I can also share this profile directly with my colleagues, and then also from this view, I now have the capability to send an email directly to this person. So this is something that I'm hoping some people are applauding right now at their desk. This is something that we've actually lacked on platform. And when I say send an email, I mean send from your institution account. So of course, the caveat is whether your IT department and whatnot, your policies enable you to connect your email, your institution email to third parties. However, this is something that we now support. So that includes both Outlook and Google accounts that you can connect directly to the CRM. And from this view, again, I can email a prospect, a contact directly here. I can also use this little AI assistant to help generate or refine some of the language as well. And I'll get into the email configuration in a moment too. Also going to pass over this faculty. I'm going to wait, sort of save the best for last, so to speak. I think you guys will be excited about that one. So in the deals view here, this is where your pipelines live. This is right now, I've got it set up, of course, for demo purposes. I have a few different pipelines. Licensing, this is, something that maybe a little bit more tech transfer focused. I've got conference meetings here as another example, and campus events. So you could imagine this is something, whether it's career, maybe it's corporate relations, hosting or sponsoring some kind of event on campus, right? They can use this pipeline, and then we can set the visibility of who has access to this information and what depth of information are they provided. All of these, of course, I'll say it again, are completely customizable. So if I click over onto licensing, the licensing pipeline edit page here, all of these stages are totally customizable. I actually just updated some of this earlier to better reflect the actual statuses. So in this case, shortlisting, emailing, follow up, active proposal, meeting scheduled, contracting. So this would be maybe license secured or NDA, and then or lost, right? Maybe this just isn't a relevant opportunity for us, or maybe it's just not the right time for this person. So you can completely customize and very easily. You just get in there, just a matter of a few clicks, and you can define those stages directly. And then, of course, this is all updated and reflected on your team's end as well. We like the Kanban board format, so it's a very visual, very easy to interact with. If I want to update the status of any of these deals, I can. It's just as simple as doing that. There it is, done. So if I emailed some contact here at Photocentric, I can very simply just drag this over here. Maybe it's Monday morning. I'm looking through what are my current pipelines. I see some status updates, and maybe I'm guided. Hey, you should probably update the status on this because so and so booked a meeting with you, or so and so just executed the NDA. So if you want, you can jump right in here and do so very easily. I can also filter these. I can cut it up many ways. I can cut it up by the owner of the deal. So who's the person that is actually sort of the point of contact or the owner of this initiative. Of course, back on the visibility and permission side of things, you can also define if it's a cross-campus collaboration. Maybe it's multiple offices have visibility into one shared pipeline, and so from there you can really easily filter by who has ownership over various activities and maybe who you should get a warm introduction for various new initiatives. And then you can create tags as well. So this is very helpful. Again, these are some demo tags here, but if I wanted to tag by type, perhaps, maybe I want to tag by a category of technology or initiative, right? Whether this is an event sponsorship, is this a technology license, is this co-development, et cetera, et cetera. So really the world's your oyster here. You've got a lot of different ways that you can approach this. Easy enough to filter by my own deals. I actually have a deal with myself right here. Um, that much is obvious. We've got all agent campaigns too. So if you are a paid subscriber of the FirstIgnite marketing agents, this is the product that we built. Really released this early this year. If you're not familiar, FirstIgnite has a product where you can actually have a FirstIgnite agent, basically a bot, prospecting and reaching out to and replying to and booking meetings with these prospects. So think of it as the sort of that autopilot function on the FirstIgnite platform, but it's actually it's given agency to go out and actually email those companies on your behalf, work out, schedule meetings with them, and then book those meetings, and all of that context is logged. So as you could imagine, it's also very important here that we can pull that information directly into the FirstIgnite CRM experience as well. I figure that's worth mentioning for those who are currently subscribed or considering subscribing to the marketing agent also. Sorry if I'm going quick. Again, please feel free to throw your questions or comments in the chat. I'm looking over at my other screen, so at any time, don't be afraid. So over here, tasks view now. This is really all of my team's current tasks. So I had created one earlier. There we go. Conduct CRM webinar. This is something that's, uh, well, let's do in progress. High priority, due date today, assigned to myself here. I can also link this task to various records. So if this task is affiliated with a deal, with companies, with a certain person, this again, external person like a prospect, I can also link that directly here. And then all of the activity related to this task. Because the information, it's very important to have some sort of audit functionality. You need some kind of uh, uh, bread trail, or sort of breadcrumbs, right? To see what's the status, how has this changed over time, who's changing it, what's it related to, is it being linked to various sources? So having that visibility into your information is very crucial. I can click over to interactions. I won't go too deep on this. This is actually pulling from our team's just random inboxes. So it's kind of messy data. But again, you can imagine if you have that filtered down by current deals, you can share that information across your team. Makes it a lot easier, a lot more visible, and easy to act upon for your colleagues, right? So you really don't have to email or chat or call back and forth about things. It's all in one place. Here's a mail view. So this is basically your living inbox. This is your actual email inbox. You can embed directly within FirstIgnite. So this is again, if you opt in to connect your institution account, or maybe it's some other like third-party account, whatever that may be, whatever you're using for your external engagement. This is all pulled into one place. So you'll see kind of a lot of junk mail, newsletters, and whatnot. I sent myself uh, a little email a little bit earlier today, reaching out regarding an opportunity. Respond promptly. Looking forward to it. I'm intrigued, very intrigued about this opportunity. I requested the book time here, and it's very simple. Then, if you recall, jump over to deals here, and there it is. So, cultivating status, deal with Cody, meeting logged, create a deal. Right, everything is all auditable. It's all visible in one place. You can also send emails, as you saw. So whether it's on an individual contact through your people view, if you're clicking into a person, or you can actually compose an email directly here. So again, more or less your entire email capability just embedded directly within the FirstIgnite CRM. And you can also view your calendar here too. All right. I know I'm skipping over a few things. Don't worry, I'll get back. So here we've got our reporting functionality. Here's another thing that's been highly requested, and this is something we're also looking to get a little bit more detailed with in the First Ignite platform itself when it comes to projects or other research initiatives. But we especially needed this as a requirement on the CRM product, is the ability to build out your team reporting. And so you can, again, customize this many, many, many different ways. I hit auto arrange here. This is going to resize and really reorient these based on the information they're displaying. I can add all kinds of widgets. So I can actually describe with AI too, which is cool. So if I want to generate a specific report, or I can start from certain templates. So as you can imagine here, context by departments, by industry, first Ignite sourced companies versus companies sourced by the owner, right? Maybe this is information that you've provided, inputted, uploaded, win loss by owner. You've got a heck of a lot of different ways that you can uh, report back to leadership, or even just to have better visibility yourselves across your team or across campus. And of course, you can create your own templates for these as well. So for deals, for people, and for companies, you can also get in there and be very particular about the information that you're pulling back and how you're calculating that and displaying it. All right, looks like no questions so far. I'm going to jump over to the AI assistant now. So, as mentioned, we are an AI native company. As you could probably imagine at this point, this was another hard requirement for the CRM. We needed to have some means of actually interacting with all this really, really great information in natural language. So, in that sense, I can ask basically any question here. Um, Please feel free to try to prompt inject or confuse the system as well. We need the feedback. However, very straightforward. Let's say, who should I follow up with? This can be any question. You can ask it to generate reports. I can ask it, I think I had one here while that loads. Uh, what's the deal change in month over month? So starting this month versus last month. You can see it's also delineating by currency too. You could split this up possibly by region, maybe by industry. So all of this data that lives within the platform and maybe this one didn't load because I just jumped away. Uh, who should I follow up with? Right. This is another one that was ran a little bit earlier. What's my active pipeline value, top deals, it's all, dummy data that we've got, potential contacts. This is stuff that's being pulled in from our, whether it's FirstIgnite projects, maybe it's some emails that it's picking up on that are relevant to companies that I've engaged in the past, and then also recommended actions here too. So, and as you can tell, we also pull in, let me actually go, let me do another one. Let's say summarize recent activity. Let's see what this pulls together. What this is doing is it's really looking at all of the information that's available to you as the user. So, permissions are accounted for in that regard. If you're familiar with using Copilot, using GPT or Claude or these other LLMs, it really comes down to what's called MCP connections. So, if you're connecting these tools to your other vendors, maybe you're connecting it to your email, you're connecting it to HubSpot, et cetera, that permission structure, it's really determined by the vendor, right? Kind of what access to information is defined within our settings by our admin. So just worth noting as well here too. And in this case, it actually generated a little report, deal with Cody, and I can click, and this pulls up the overlay. So right there, I've got a direct hyperlink to this deal. So all this information that's being pulled back, again, this could be generating reports or pointing me to the right place. If I need to follow up on any sort of activities, maybe things slip through the cracks all the time. You're getting emails all day long. A lot of that very simple now. You can just go visit this one place, ask virtually any question, and get an immediate answer that's all grounded in your data, uh, and again, easily accessible with just a few clicks. So I'm going to jump over to workflows, and I do see you typing over there, Jake. I can jump back if need be. Wanted to demonstrate this. This is something, the workflows tool is not something that we have fully released to all of our users right now. However, this is a very, very powerful tool within the CRM. It's something that we are uh, really rampantly developing currently. I'm just going to show a really quick sample here. So this is a visual workflow editor. In this case, you can actually see kind of the top-down path on the left here. So this is more of just a simple, kind of hierarchical top-down single column view. And then on this, I've got a full visual breakdown. This is something, if you're familiar to tools like Zapier or some of these other connect all the things type platforms, this is probably going to look very familiar to you. So this is one sample where, say we've created there's a deal in our pipeline, in the licensing pipeline, and say it changed status. So it went from really any stat. In this case, it went from any status to meeting scheduled. If the deal value is greater than 100,000, then I can actually assign a task to whether it's the deal owner or anyone really. When's it due? I can link it to the triggering record, which of course in this case would be the deal. Um, due in one day, I can tell them you need to call this contact. Uh, we can wait a day. And then if that person hasn't followed up by then, we're creating a task to follow up with this person and assigning it to the deal owner. Over here, let's say, got another sort of bifurcation here. We've got uh, do some other thing, right? Follow up with so and so, assign it to the deal owner, and then assign to the selected user. Uh, the one immediate point of feedback we got on this, which we're working towards, is the ability for our system to look at your emails. So any emails that are, say, uh, relevant to the CRM, any emails that maybe you're engaging with prospects, with companies, you've got these records pre-populated in here. The idea is that we would start to look at sort of the content of those emails and make decisions based on that information. So, what I'm getting at is we should be able to pick up on the intent, or really the status, or kind of the next step, like the action items from each of these emails. So of course, a few key opportunities there would be, around following up with users. If a user responds and maybe they've got, they're interested, but like they want more information, but they're not ready to meet yet, versus someone who says, yes, let's meet. You've got, of course, the meeting is a very complex thing. So you could cut this up many different ways. But the idea here is you could actually use AI uh, to analyze those emails, and then from that you can set various actions, various triggers. So you could potentially move somebody through a deal pipeline, basically move them to the next stage if they respond positively, or if they mention certain things like, yes, let's sign an NDA, let's meet on this, I'd like more information. Right, you could update them to a qualified status, you could update them to potentially procured status. It's completely up to your team and organization to define how you want to approach this. But this is a very versatile tool. You can also, of course, get in here. In this case, I don't have any history to show, but you can show all the historic runs. So again, auditing this information is very important. Being able to get in here, have visibility of sort of what's running, right? How is this tool kind of, what information is it accessing? How is this information used? What's being updated across the tool, right? So it's good for even like debugging purposes. If something changed and you're trying to understand, what was actually the change here? Was it a workflow or a person? This is where you'd actually go for that. And in this case, deal stewardship workflow, description of it. And then I can, again, set the initial trigger here, which in this case is on the editor, deal stage changed. So I can set a lot of various triggers. Companies created, people created, tasks created or assigned, deals won, lost, status is changing. And again, we're looking to bring more of that intelligent kind of that AI type of analysis and triggers into here as well. So this is something that's it's truly, it's less of a discrete thing that we're looking at, like whether a deal status was updated, and it's something that's a little bit more unstructured and uh, typically would require the human element to make that basically to discern whether something is needing to be updated. We can do that directly with a prompt here and access to the right information, and then of course it comes down to validating that this works as intended. So I wanted to show this. Again, this is something that's not available to all of our current CRM users. It's coming soon. We really want to polish this up and stress test it. We got to doing red teaming and whatnot. So, but yeah, excited about this functionality. And then let me jump. Let's see here. All right. So just pausing here, looking over, I see Emily asked, would the CRM integrate or speak to our existing institutional CRM? Thinking about how our individual slash alumni relations coincide with our corporate discussions. Yeah, so that's an amazing question, Emily. And this is actually, again, one of the core tenets around why we built the CRM the way we did. I'm going to click over here to integrations. As of right now, in this case, I've got my it's kind of a FirstIgnite test instance of HubSpot connected. I have Salesforce as an integration as well. And then we are currently wrapping up a Blackbaud CRM integration. And then we're focusing also on Ellucian Banner. So really the Banner CRM system. Uh, and Emily, if you could follow up even in chat or somewhere, or even after the webinar, would love to better understand what CRM systems your institution uses, because that's really what we're trying to get at here is unifying all of the various CRMs across campus. Whether it's CRMs, it could be spreadsheets, it could be manual information that's being uploaded. But the idea here is really unifying that relationships layer across campus. And I'll get into this in a. Actually, I'll jump over here now. Clicking over, you're probably familiar with this view. This is First Ignite project on our First Ignite, sort of our core SaaS platform. Uh, the idea here now that we have all this great relationship data connected to our CRM is that we want to start to surface that within the First Ignite experience itself. So let's just say a hypothetical. Let's consider we've got someone in corporate relations working on maybe a sponsored research initiative with Pfizer, or maybe there's some historic initiative with Pfizer. Maybe 5 years ago, they made a significant donation, naming rights to a building or sponsored research, co-development, licensing, some whatever it may be. You've got that historic information stored in the CRM. And now imagine let's say you're within tech transfer. Imagine you're working on a new initiative, some new campaign. You've got this technology, looks really promising. You're prospecting, finding companies. Wouldn't it be great if First Ignite surfaced Pfizer in that case with a high relevance score and an indicator that this company has in the past engaged with your institution? Now, of course, the depth of information here is important to consider. We don't want people. Of course, we want to respect the level of detail, the privacy, and whatnot that we're actually displaying. However, even just indicating that your institution has a significant prior engagement with a company is a really, really great indicator that this could be a potential fit for my initiative. And then in that respect, we also want to route you effectively through that point of contact. So another challenge that we hear often from our partners is that uh, they're stepping on each other's toes without knowing it, right? Maybe in some cases they know it, but for the most part, maybe they're collectively working on similar initiatives. They're reaching out to the same companies, in some cases, the same contacts. And those contacts get little flustered. They get confused very quickly because now you've got various people from different offices reaching out about completely different initiatives. And so, what we're trying to do here is also eliminate that friction across campus. It's basically helping multiple offices to better strategize and be aligned on, on what's working or really like who's working on what across campus, and how can we best approach a new opportunity rather than sort of the more ad hoc approach or shot in the dark where we want to start to surface these companies, these partners who already have really strong engagement, or even if there's some prior indication that they would be open to these types of initiatives, sponsoring research, licensing technologies, sponsoring events, whatever that might be. Being able to highlight that directly within the First Ignite project. So this is something that right now, actively underway. It's going to be starting to get that information implemented directly within your First Ignite experience if you're a CRM subscriber. And then I'm just going to jump into this company right now just for a might have to refresh. There we go. Um, just a quick example again to show how easy it is to go from a company within the traditional First Ignite view. I can create a CRM deal. In this case, it's pulling up the people from this project that I've already, in this case, it auto prospected. But if I have gone in here, if I've gathered people's emails or saved them to a list in this project, really simple for me to just jump in, select people, create a new deal value, right? This could be, of course, this is entirely up to your discretion. If I want to add notes to the deal object, and then it's as simple as hitting create deal, and this natively syncs over to my CRM. Same thing here. If I want to just send the company itself to the CRM, that's it. I just clicked a button, done. So if I jump over here, I can go to companies. I believe that was Snow Lab. There it is. Click on it. There we go. Just now, sent by Cody from company profile. And I can actually view the specific project that it came from within First Ignite 2. So again, traceability, auditability, very, very important so that you don't lose track of where this information is coming from, right? And who's making changes across your team or across the institution to this various data. All right. Any questions before? Okay, we've got chat messages. Yes, Blackbot. All right. Uh, let's see. How much does CRM add-on cost for First Ignite users? How does the CRM integrate with Minuet? And does it integrate with TradeSpace? Yeah, all great questions. So, how much does the CRM add-on cost for First Ignite users? This is a question for, of course, I hate to say it, for our partnerships team, for our sales team. We want to make this very approachable. we're really prioritizing. We want to get you guys on. So this is something after the webinar. We'll follow up with all you all, and we'll provide some additional information there, and really encourage you to book a meeting. We'll do some tailored demos for your use case. Just learn a little bit more about your current CRM challenges across campus and how we can best serve your team, serve your needs. How does the CRM integrate with Minuet? So another great question. Um, for those who don't know, we were actually acquired by the same company, Merit Holdings, that Intium was acquired by. This was back in January. So we're not merging companies, but we are deeply integrating our products with one another. And so the current initiative, Jake, very timely question here. We're looking to get the CRM and marketing prospect, marketing target connections, basically getting that functionality out within the next couple of weeks here. So we're still polishing things up, doing some, finding some edge cases and whatnot. But yeah, that's also very promising. Is from within the FirstIgnite platform. I should add that caveat is we've prioritized being able to uh, go from directly in a FirstIgnite project. This could be from a company view. You can actually see here, not in Intium, so I can add. See, I can add this company. Little little bit outside of the conversation to today's webinar, but just so you can see really quick here, for the Intium customers as well, we do support now, or very soon, the ability to go from a First Ignite company or a person or a project, and create those resources directly within the Minuet CRM. So the idea is, of course, we wanna bring that functionality, over to the CRM as well. Um, could be potentially